with the arrival of a packet of O-rings from Amazon Prime, 20 millimeters by I think 17 millimeter by 2 millimeter thick, I was able to get the O-ring into the barrel, straighten this out, and now this action works a bit smoother. It was kind of rough when I first did it, but then again, not owning one of these bull pups, I didn't know. So I fixed the problem, and it was a matter of filing and sanding. Just run sandpaper on those two threads, and that's what was cutting. There was a burr somewhere that would cut the O-ring, and then it would bind with the piston. It would start pulling the O-ring out of the barrel. So I got that fixed, but this was right out of the box an issue. Now probably if you didn't know or you had malfunctions, you could send the gun back or something, but I delved into it, figured out what it was, and fixed the issue pretty quick. Again, quality control, that's what you have to say. So we got one problem before we even got into the disassembly video. We had a major problem. So that's been taken care of. Now I'm going to go on. I'm going to make the disassembly video, and you know, who knows, maybe then later this week we'll go out and shoot this thing and see if it's even worth the time and trouble to deal with. Alright. This is my third attempt at a disassembly video for the Centurion bullpup shotgun. Now this gun did come kind of non-functional from the factory, but there's a video explaining all of that. So now that we got all the problems straightened out, let's start. First of all, the manual don't help you. The instructions that I received are not really for this gun. So our first step is to clear the weapon. And basically, that cocks the hammer. And so what you want to do is put the safety on. You do not want to inadvertently trip the hammer while doing this. Now in the instructions, it shows you, it only shows you 2 on one, but there are 3 pins. One here, and one back here. And they have a screw head. Now there is a 4th screw head that is protruding above that you want to turn this, and this supposedly will take the plastic feed ramp down, and I'll show you that more in detail once. You just want to give that a little twist back. It only moves about 1/8 of an inch. I really don't know if it's necessary or not to move that. So we got our 3 pins here, here, and here, back here. Now what I do is on the right side of the gun, you take a screwdriver, and these screw heads have an unusually wide slot in them. And what I do is I just get this one side done, and as you see, there's this tiny screw. And then using a punch, because some of these are pretty tight, you push this pin through the other side like this. Now the instruction manual says they won't come out. These do, so I don't know. I'm going to get the other ones out. I'm not going to bore you, but then we'll continue on. Alright, with the 3 pins removed, 1, 2, 3 in the screws, now you can separate the lower receiver from the upper half of the gun. You can look inside and see the mechanism, and like I said, be careful not to pull the trigger and let the hammer fall. Now that we have the firearm disassembled, I'm going to address a few things that confused me during the disassembly. Okay, here's our lower receiver. It's all one piece. The metal parts in it have some oil in there, and the only thing I can say to do is put some solvent on a rag and wipe it off. Now the big question was this feed ramp. The instructions tell you to have the feed ramp go back or pull it down. And on some of these other guns, it does move quite a bit. But here's the thing. Also, it's that one of these weird screws. Okay? And if you look at it right there, there's not a whole hell of a lot of movement when you turn that screw. I mean, it barely moves. You can notice it when I turn this. I could see it was off the barrel, and this way it touches the barrel. So be very careful with this. I don't understand the instructions or why it tells you to move it down. It's not moving. There's hardly any play in this, and this whole screw and everything looks kind of flimsy, but we're going to turn it clockwise and back, so when we put it together, remember to turn it forward on this. Now, the next step is we go to this, get in here. The next step here is just removing this. There is a metal plate that holds this upper handguard assembly on. So that comes out of the front, which holds the handguard. So the handguard, the op rod, and all that other fun stuff are now removed. Okay, pretty basic. We just remove this. Locking washer here. Just like that. And then they tell you to basically just remove the whole mechanism. Straightforward and right out of the unit. Now we got binding again. Now when I first did this, I could not get this barrel off, and it appears we're running into the same problem once more. Yep, and the screws tore the damn washer right out. Oh, I don't know. Alright, but that's basically how you get her apart. All your major pieces here, the bolt, that, everything else. Spring. And again, I'm having issues with this screw. Okay, so that's how you get it apart. And we'll go on to the other parts of it, and we'll try to reassemble it again.